a while ago, a couple of years ago now, I learned that Cross was releasing more Townsend Star Wars pens and that one of them was going to be Boba Fett. Now, Boba Fett happens to be one of my favorite characters from the original trilogy. So, I went to Joost Appelboom and I said, there will be a substantial reward for the one who finds Boba Fett, but I want him alive. No disintegrations. And Joost said, as you wish. And that is how I got to obtain Boba Fett. But then, more recently, Cross did something else. They came up with Star Wars Peerless pens. And Joost said, I will send you a Darth Vader outfit, and if you do the review in that Darth Vader outfit, you can keep the pen. And I was like, you think I would not? I find your lack of faith disturbing. And that is how I got to obtain a Darth Vader pen. But now here's the question. Which of the two do you pick? Now there's a bunch, as of yet, there's only one Peerless, that's Darth Vader, as I understand it. They're very hard to get, they hit the market in a strange way. But then there's all these Cross Townsends, and there's a whole bunch you can pick from. There's C-3PO, and there's Chewbacca, and there's... I only have this one. But, so what I kind of wanted to do is, of these two, if you want to buy one Star Wars pen, I only have one of the Townsend models, but I can talk about that model. If you want to buy a Star Wars Cross pen, which of the two should you pick? Or what would you consider? So that's what I'm going to do. I'll do a side-by-side writing sample, and I will talk about what I like and dislike about both of these pens. So it's time for Star Wars themed fountain pen! Lightsaber Duel. Star Wars, I just love Star Wars. If they should ban wars, let this one stay. That's not my song. Bill Murray, look it up. Okay. Boba Fett versus Darth Vader. Which one do you pick? Well, obviously this is a personal choice, but I just thought it would be fun to compare some of the features of the pens. Now, these are pens that are clearly aimed at a Star Wars collector market for the very simple reason that they put, when I say they, I mean Cross put in an enormous amount of detail on both of these pens. So they are officially LFL, right? So Lucasfilm licensing. And I have done separate reviews of both, so I don't want to go over each and every separate detail, but I mean, take Boba Fett, you have the T-shaped visor of his helmet, you have the kill stripes of his helmet, you have the dents on his helmet, you have his jetpack on the back, you have his belt sash on there, you even have the Kirbes, the Mythosaur symbol there. So there is a lot going on as to detail. Also, what I really like is that the pen body and the cap are metal. Oh, I shouldn't have done that, should I? Anyway, so it feels like a solid pen. Then you have the Darth Vader pen. The Peerless model is a bit fatter, right? That I think is the biggest difference. It's a much girthier pen, as you can see. One big advantage of the Peerless pens is that the nibs are made by Sailor, so you get a very, very good writing experience. The Peerless itself too also has a lot of detail. There is stripes from Darth Vader's armor, there is detail from his boots, there is his helmet actually on the cap in a stylized version. There are his chest, you got his chest buttons there. You have the Imperial symbol on this one, and of course the Star Wars logo. You even have a red little crystal to symbolize his, I thought it was a Swarovski crystal, I could be wrong, to symbolize his lightsaber. Again, a lot of detail. So I think I have understood that these nibs for the Townsends are actually made by Pelican, and it does kind of look like a Pelican nib. I have not actually verified it, but I think I read that at some point. So you have Pelican, German nib, Sailor, Japanese nib. So which one do you buy? Clearly you could choose a character, but does one pen have more merits over the other? And I don't want to talk about, well, this one has 15 Boba Fett features and this one has only 9 Darth Vader features. I haven't counted that, I made up those numbers. But I don't want to really talk about that, because some people love this character, other people love that character. For me, right now, I'm more interested in how do they perform as pens. So let's start with Boba Fett, simply because that one, that was the first one I got. It is a thinner pen. It's that simple. It's thinner. It does post securely, but it's a thinner, narrower model. So I'm not going to write down Cross. I'm not going to write down Townsend. I probably should write down Townsend. I typically have green ink in this because it matches, I was actually going to say the armor. It matches the body of the pen, but because I had black, this is Aurora black, because I had that in the Darth Vader pen, which obviously needs either a black or a red. Let's face it, there's no other options. I put black in this as well to make the comparison fair. So the writing with this nib has been tuned a bit by Salmon from the Toronto Pen Company, but also by Wacko Jacko from the Calgary Pen Club. So the issue the nib had when I got it was that, especially with some inks and some papers, it was quite picky. It seemed to have a little bit of baby's bottom. Very smooth, medium nib, and these are 18K, but baby's bottom, over polished, and that was fixed by these fine gentlemen. And now it is a bit more stubby, as you can see. So it has a bit more line variation. That means I can't show you the pen out of the box, but out of the box was what I did in the review, so you can check that out. I don't even know what I'm doing here. I was going to write a review, but I don't know why. Nice pen, but thin, skinny, and because the cap sticks out so far and is metal, when posted it gets top heavy, so that doesn't really eliminate the thin aspect. Some people love thinner, narrower pens. I personally prefer a pen that is a little bit girthier. I found these, the street price seems to be something along the lines of $430. Limited edition pens, huh? And of course Star Wars tie-ins, people would buy this. This happens to be, there were 1977 pens, obviously 1977 year Star Wars New Hope was launched. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the Darth Vader pen, right? Darth Vader. Sailor nib, girthier pen, and also posts very securely. Solid pen because of all the metal. This one's definitely top heavy as well. So here we have the Peerless Darth Vader. Same ink, Aurora black. This is a medium nib, 18K, made by Sailor, Japanese. Therefore, this medium nib, I would say, is pretty much a fine nib in Western terms. And you can see the difference in line width between Boba Fett and Darth Vader here. Medium and medium. But some mediums are more medium than others, as you know. This pen has been tuned and now writes very nicely. This pen out of the box was stellar. No one has touched this nib. This is out of the box. It was superb. You know me, if you've seen some of my videos, I love broad nibs. This pretty much writes like a fine. It is a joy, an absolute joy. Precise, nice, and superb ink flow, not scratchy at all. A lovely writer. So when it comes to writing, I would probably pick Darth Vader. And I also find it a bit more comfortable because it has some more girth. Yes, it gets top heavy. Unposted, it's more than big enough for me to use. Very comfortable, very nice, A heavier pen, a beautiful pen, a lovely pen. And I love that they went for chrome trim. For some reason it makes more sense to me on Darth Vader than yellow gold. So I'm very happy they did that. The street price for this one, and again they're a little weird, they seem to be a little tough to find, about $4.20. You get them in a beautiful box with artwork and a little booklet on the character. There's even a stand, I show all this in the reviews, there's a little stand for the pen which has cross on one side, Star Wars on the other, so you can actually put it on there. It's not related to the character, it's the same for all these pens. I think they're two superb pens. I mean, listen, I've never denied it. I'm a nerd. I am. I like Star Wars. It's the way it is. There could be worse things in the world, I think. So I love these pens. I love them both. And if I were to have to pick one, I mean, it's the Fett, right? It's Boba Fett. He is, like, I want that armor and I want the jetpack and I definitely want the flamethrower gauntlet. But for everyday writing, I would pick Darth Vader. Obviously, because if you don't ink up this pen after a while, it tends to force choke you to death. But beyond that, it's very comfortable and the writing experience is superb. So what I hope is that Cross is going to launch more pens like this model, because a Boba Fett in this would be pretty killer. Anyway, if you like the thinner, skinnier pens, and of course the Townsend's a great model for you. If you like something a bit more girthy, a bit more body, then this is fantastic for you. Try it, use it, see what happens, right? They're both great pens, and to be honest, I think you will love either. You buy this if you like Star Wars, obviously, or if you know someone who loves Star Wars, you want to give them they're fairly expensive, but you want to give them a gift. Darth Vader, for me, wins, just because it has a bit more girth. And it's just very, very comfortable, and that nib is so stellar that every time I write with this I think, wow, because out of the box, it feels to me like that nib was seen by a nibmeister, but it wasn't, out of the box. And that's superb. So there you have it. I won't ramble on any longer. Here you have the Star Wars, right? Hope this was useful. A very kind thank you to Joost Appelboom for supplying me with both. And I'll gladly see you later.